There are two constants in the universe. The physical constant is gravity, which affects us from conception to death, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the metaphysical constant, which you can't see or measure, but everyone agrees exists, like thoughts, feelings, ideas, and emotions. The metaphysical constant is love. Chiropractors deal with both of these constants. Physically, 80% of the input to the brain is from gravity, firing of the receptors in the spine. Metaphysically, chiropractors heal with love. As Jimmy Parker would say, loving service, my first technique.
I got sick in December of 2005, and it was the vertigo and the migraines, and went to Mayo Clinic and got treated there for almost 3 years, and a lot of drugs, no help. And then went to a chiropractor and has done that the last 5 or 6 years. The vertigo got better, the migraines got better, but I still have it. So now I'm on year 11, and I still have vertigo and I still have migraines until now, until I came to this clinic.
The brain speaks to you. Everything you experience as your life, you experience in your brain. We're here today to talk about concussions and brain injuries. In order to understand how the brain is injured, we need to first talk about how the brain develops and how to heal it. 90% of the brain's development is from the force of gravity acting on the embryo and receptors. It fires the genetic expression. The brain is also developed by the 5 senses and the movement of the motor system. Being bipedal caused human beings to have a great brain. In order to be able to stand upright, we had to develop a more complex brain. The frontal cortex is responsible for all the coordinated and automatic functions of being upright and being human. We had to develop these complex systems to be able to move, anticipate, plan, strategize. This led to thinking. How does the brain develop? It responds to external sources of stimulation. Things like gravity, light, sound, smells, taste, temperature, and touch. This stimulation and synchronization creates muscle activity and the control of bodily systems. They all have major pathways to the brain. Our muscle tone connection to the brain creates a large amount of developmental input based upon our own physical receptors, the senses. Balance is very important to human beings. In order to stay upright and balanced, we increased development of proprioception, the vestibular apparatus, and the cerebellum. We also needed better movement and fixed action patterns. When you reach to pour a cup of coffee, you use 41 different muscles. This simple action requires coordination, a fixed action pattern. Cognition is the brain's ability to acquire knowledge and understanding, the ability to understand the present, past, and future. Cognition is ability to think, and thinking allows movement in an organized manner. Thinking is internalized movement.
Just to have a hope that there's something. I thought I was just going to live with this till I died, and to have a hope that there's something that there's out there that can help. And you guys have all these tests and all this stuff. I don't even understand it, but it works.
Well, you have your chiropractor, he did help you, but he was...
Yes, he was limited.
He kind of heard about that maybe you did have a concussion, which makes it hard for all the really good things that chiropractors do sometimes to get better because the brain can't respond. Okay?
Yeah.
But I was pretty incapacitated. At one point I became virtually bedridden, and I took a serious fall that may have resulted in a minor concussion, but I landed on my tailbone after all of these surgeries, and things began to get worse and worse. I've been treated very intensively almost every day since my arrival, including the weekends, and I'm so grateful for that. And today is the last day of my treatment. I will be traveling back to Mexico tomorrow. And at this point in time, I feel great relief in all of those areas, and I'm very hopeful of retaining that relief, and I plan to be very responsible with the exercises that you have sent home with me.
Hemisphericity. There are two sides of the brain. Physically, the left side controls the right side of the body for voluntary motion and sensations, and the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body. Genetically, the two sides are programmed differently. The left hemisphere is designed for verbal behaviors, for speaking, listening, details and facts, and fine motor skills. The left brain is about approach behavior, to go, to get things done. The right hemisphere is about the big picture, non-verbal behavior. It's about implied information, intuition, inference, reading comprehension, social skills, large muscle movements. The right brain says no to inhibit things. Left hemisphere weakness manifests as learning difficulties or disabilities, processing disorders of sight, sound, and touch, memory difficulties, the inability to discern details, apparent laziness, dyslexia, or depression. Right hemisphere weakness can be seen as poor inhibition of action, like clumsiness, perseveration and distractibility, impulsivity or hyperactivity, poor social skills and/or nonverbal communication. Sometimes conceptual information is difficult to understand. Patients may display overmatched left brain skills, poor proprioception, vertigo, and/or anxiety. Concussions. Concussion is a disconnection on all of these levels. A disconnection between the two hemispheres, the corpus callosum, a disconnection within the cortex, and a disconnection in the brain stem.
So my name is Robbie Betchley. I am 21 years old from Nashville, Tennessee, and we came up here to take care of a concussion I got about a year and a month ago, and it's been giving me a lot of trouble as far as screens and driving. Haven't been driving, been sitting blindfolded in cars for a little over a year now. So we decided it was time to take care of it. We've been seeing a lot of doctors, but once we got up here, after the first day, is the first time I felt relief in a long time from the initial concussions. Dizziness, nausea, lightheaded with any physical activity, constant headaches, migraines, the whole shebang. So
Yeah, couldn't look at screens.
couldn't look at screens, couldn't drive a car, couldn't sit in a car and look. It's just almost everything you want to do, I couldn't do. So
Yeah, what did you do?
exactly, a lot of sleeping, a lot of laying around, and just trying to stay busy around the house. But anytime I would really get out and do anything, it would put me right back in bed. So,
Did you ever feel like there might be no hope?
oh, always. You always got to have hope, but there's always times where you feel like
You're
you don't know if you're ever going to get better, and that's just natural of human instinct when you deal with an injury this long. But the second you come in here and you start to feel relief, your hope goes straight up and comes right back. So,
From the fundamental physics of gravity to the metaphysics of love, the brain is majestically complex. There are more neurons in the brain than stars in the sky. The brain responds in nanoseconds. The healing of disconnections in the brain leads to the possibility of full self-expression and the evolution of the humankind. Join the journey. Join us. Minnesota Concussion and Chiropractic Arts.